Hi guys. Some people are really getting worried about this coronavirus. They're always stockpiling and buying loads and loads and loads of stuff. Toilet rolls, tissues, cleaning products, you name it. I'm just glad that we are not like that as modelers. Some people can be really overcautious at times. But anyway, just know that I'm not like that. I'm not one of these guys that buys loads of stuff in. And I just like to make sure that everybody else is doing okay over there. Paranoid I aren't. Remember that. So let's crack on with the next part of the M-ATV. See you guys. Good afternoon folks, how are you? Hope you're all okay. So we're now on update 3 of this build. I apologise that I'm trying to post one each week ideally, but when your motivation and your mojo is just a bit, you just can't bother, can you? And then I've always said, and I stand by what I say, that if you feel as though it's a chore and you're really pushing yourself to model, it's not really a hobby anymore. It becomes more of a chore, you know, and it's just one of them things, isn't it? We all go through it as modelers, and anybody that has certain hobbies, they all go through different things, you know. So, but yeah, I've just got to a bit of that. I know I did a video last week or 5 days ago, which was the monthly update, which I'm hoping to start doing more of each month now. And then I don't think I've posted a update on this for about a week now, so it's due to be another update. So I haven't touched it while you've been gone, and basically we finished the first page, didn't we? And now we're on here where I've marked up on next, which is step 2. Now this step now looks like it's going to be bringing a lot more to the frames, you know, being the undercarriage and that, you know, the crank axles and whatever. I don't know what they're called because I'm not really a car person. So so we're now putting all that together. Now I've noticed here that as we're coming into these next stages, there may be parts that we perhaps need to take over to the airbrush paint area and start painting, because once everything goes on top of it, it's going to be awkward to get proper coverage of you know, painting everything. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to have a look at that as we go. So it's asking for, this is where we are already with this kit. So we've done the crank axle and that earlier on, and then the last update wasn't much, it felt like, that we did, but we did a couple of bits, which is all there in the first bit of photo etch as well that we did. And it's now asking for A1, A2 and A3 or 4, while it was A4 that we did, because it's light green and we're doing the US Army version instead of the Polish Special Forces version. So they can now stay in the little pot that we've got, just for when we do come across to doing them. So let's crack on with this. What I'm going to do is turn it over here, and then I hate working with the instructions here. It's horrible. I'm going to do a couple of shout outs as well. Firstly, Luke Carswell. Luke has done his last update he did give me a shout out and mention, it's very kind words he said too. I've always commented on Luke's work and tried to promote him, you know, giving shout outs and that, because he's an ex-forces guy with myself, and also he's a top modeler as well. He's very talented for how long he's been doing it for, really. And he also puts his life on the line every single day for keeping the streets safe with us. For us, he's a paramedic, so, you know, they do have a tough job. So thanks, Luke, that's really good of you, and I'll put a link to Luke's channel underneath this. And the last one is just going to be Steve Jones. Steve Jones. I put an update, a connection, I think, or link to his channel in my last update. I mean, in my monthly update, I can't remember. So I'll put it in this one anyway. So I want you to go and check his work out, and he is extremely talented too. Right, let's have a crack on then. So at the minute, we're going to be needing A1, which is going to go connecting into there. So what I would suggest is that we need to, let's make this part up first, which looks pretty a bit weirdy type thing. It's asking for the old way of I don't know if you remember when you used to, like the rubber tracks, you used to like push the bits through, and then you'd get a heated paint or your knife, heat it at the end, and then you sort of melt the parts down so it would be your connection. Well, for some reason this day and age it's asking for that now on this part. So we need the C sprue and G sprue. So let's have a quick look for them. I haven't had much chance to sort the sprues out for this this update, so we'll get them all on to here first. So before we start, so we need G26 and G3. So G3 is there, and G26 is there. Now this one looks quite complicated, this part does, because it's got a few bits quite, if you look at how it's connected on, you have to be careful there, take them off. So yeah, so we'll take them off. Always look at the back of the sprue as well, because there might be a bit of a bit that shows you where to put your clippers, and it might guide you of where to cut it, some parts. So always take your sprue and have a good look at it, not just from at the front, but from the back as well, because you know there could be little bits. So I haven't got any you can tell I'm all ready for this part, because I've just jumped on the bench and thought, right, I've got a few minutes, about an hour free, so I'm just going to do a bit more of an update on this. But I'm quite enjoying having a couple of projects on the go at the minute, to be fair, because it's sort of giving me that thing of I'm not bored with one build, so I've got a couple I can do. So you know, it's quite nice to have. Now normally a couple of years ago, or a couple of months, well, say probably last year actually, I couldn't really do it because I mean PTSD, it gets kicked off. It does kick off if I get a bit stressed, and it's just not very nice. I don't go screaming the place down or anything like that, but like some poor people. But yeah, I do struggle sometimes. So F30 we need. So let's get the F sprue, which is here. F30. But I'm hoping everybody's okay, and this corona thingy-majiggy isn't kicking everybody's arse into, you know, into nothing, because, you know, I'd hate to see good friends and that struggle, you know. I mean, round here there's loads of people that are self-isolating, I think, now, which is, and you know, you've got to do, I think, haven't you, you know, to do it. But saying that, I say we're doing self-isolating. We went to bloody Tesco this morning for a coffee, so so that's hardly self-isolation thingy, is it? I'm just going to take me thingy off because I'm a bit hot. I'm just going to get a couple of sanders because we might need it. Well, we certainly will need them, so I'm just going to get them. That they can do for now. So we've got F30, G26 and G3, and then we need C29, C and C69 times 2. So there's 2 sprues of C, so C69 times 2, which is there, so we've only got one on one C, and I take it we'll have the other one on this sprue. What did we say? C69, don't we? That's gone over there. There's a little knob button, you know, knob onto that one that we need to sort out. C69, which is there. Okay, So we've got them two, so just put them over there. Try and separate your parts in a way, but keep them all together, you know, so. And then C29, which does look quite fiddly. Where are we? I'll tell you what, you know, my eyes are terrible. Oh, there's two on there. C29, so you only need one at this stage. Yeah, you only need one at this stage, so we'll just take that one off. There we go. Right, so let's just give these a quick sand over so we know that the parts are all going to fit, because you don't want to get so far and then find out you've got to come back and do all the sanding for everything to fit. Also as well, some Ryefield are brilliant, you know, I'm just being a bit what's-it here, you know, a bit nicky-pickety. But some Ryefield kits you have to be careful, because the moulding stubs on the back sometimes are quite big, and once you cut them off there's still a bit of a mark there, so you could do with just going over and just sort of just tidy them up a bit. And also there's a little bit now and again of the odd bit of flash around on you know, this kit I've noticed, and on I did the M1A1 Abrams last, I don't know, about 3 years ago, with the one that came out with the full interior, and that had a few bits and pieces here and there. But I've got that kit again. They've just recently released it the same sort of time as this M-Wrap. They've released the Abrams again, but the Tusk, with the Tusk options on them, which is excellent, and the full interior. I got those at the same time as this, so those of you that have just sort of picked this up and just watching this from these updates and don't normally follow me, there was that and this that I put up for the viewers' votes of which one they wanted me to see as my very first build along. Now, in a way, I've gone and chucked myself in the deep end really, and I've gone and picked a full interior kit to do as my first build along. And I perhaps should have started smallish first, like Luke has. He's doing the pink, the British Pink Panther, the Tamiya kit, lovely kit. It's, you know, I suppose in a way that probably would have been the better thing to do, something like that, because then you're sort of not dropping yourself in the deep end like this with a load of bloody tough small parts, when I'm still trying to figure out the areas of the, you know, the camera, where's best to go, and what my bench is like when I'm working on the camera, and all, you know. So what I have said I'm going to do is, though, so it's not too boring for you, which I'm sure you're probably asleep already now, but what I'm going to start doing is when it's repetitive, so you get a piece that's repetitive, so you get like step A, but you need to make 4 of them or something, I'm going to knock that down, like, and sort of pause the camera and then come back when all of them are done, I think, and it saves you guys getting all fed up, completely fed up. Right, so G26, which is this one, and I believe that needs to go onto there. See, this is the thing with a lot of Ryefield kits, they're not the easiest of things to work out. No, see, like that now. But again, like I said, if you can, you go and check the part, you'll be able to see what it's like. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave them two, and then I'm going to put these. See, it's hard, I can't understand what they're doing with this. It's bloody backwards, this part is. Right, this is the part where they want you to sort of heat it, so, and melt the top, so it will be movable, so you can't really stick any glue on it. That's why they want you to do that, so it's yeah, so it moves, so you're just sort of melting the top part of it, so it moves, I suppose. See, this is doing me head in already. Right, what we'll do is then, where's me light? Okay, so we'll get one of the Tamiya sprue cutters, paint spray thingy and a lighter, and what we'll do is we'll heat this. Kids, make sure you've got parents with you if you're watching this. Don't try and do this yourself, because it will be and lead to the fire brigade possibly being called, and the same with myself here. Although saying that, you bugger, yeah, there you go. See, you burn yourself. Don't do it. And then of course you need to try and make yourself a bit so it won't be too, so the part actually makes the way, if you know what I mean. So right, there you go, that's that part. So it's just literally melted the top bit to stay on there. Now I need to do the other side. What a ball ache, eh? Why? Oh, bloody hell. If I can get the bugger fitting, he says. Of course, you don't want to break the part, which is the other thing you need to be careful of. Now then, this part here is a bit more up with it, so let's just do it again. Right, that'll have to do, see if that works. Yeah, that seems okay. So you only just need to melt it a little bit, you don't need to go too mad. Oh my god, what a pain in the arse that part was. Right, so there's that. So we've got them two on. Then these now lie onto that way, is it? Okay, yeah, so it's like that, it needs to go. And then these apparently are supposed to be up that way, like so. And then they're supposed to go fit over there and onto that, if it will go. There we go. Like that. What a ball ache that is. Now it doesn't say, oh it does, we can't glue that bit now, so we need that to be melted as well. So let's get the thing again. Please, like I say, kids, get a parent or adult to do it first. It's not worth burning yourself and burning the house down just for a bloody model. It's not worth it, guys, so please get somebody that can help you. So you want to just squat it down just a bit, so that'll do. You don't need it to, you know, you don't need to squash it right down, because if you squash it right down, you're going to flatten the piece completely and it's just not going to work. So, you know, you're going to knacker the whole piece together. So that is that. There you go. So it's not coming off. That'll do for now. Right, and then we need to attach these, which is G3 and G26, but again it doesn't really give you much of how it's supposed to go. It's a bit difficult, that bit is. So let's have a look. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, we're certainly going to be bloody here for Kingdom Come time, aren't we, with me building this bloody thing. There's no quick movements with me, is there? Right, so I'm guessing that that's the way it's supposed to go. Aha, so yeah, I've got you now. So that, okay, so we're going to need a bit of glue here now, so let's just put a dab on there already. That was with my left hand, as you can tell, so it's nearly messed it up. And then it's supposed to go, I believe, come on you twat, sorry for the language, guys. somebody said to me, I can't think who it was, I think it was Mark, Armour Empire. He says he couldn't do a build along because there'd be too much swearing going on, and I thought, yeah, you've seen nothing yet, Mark. Trust me. Right, so now this part now needs to go the same, so it's like that, isn't it? Let's just check. So that goes there like so, and this will go under it. Yeah, it's pretty easy now. Now you sort of sat and I've just worked it out. It's not too difficult to understand, really. I think once these smaller bits get done, I think we'll probably start cracking on quite a bit, because all these bits here, I mean, even if I looked at some reference material, I probably wouldn't have as good a detail to see these type of things, you know, that sort of out of the way on the vehicle. So this isn't wanting to work at all. Nope, this does not want to work. So that might need just loosening up a tad, I think. First. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean this part up, guys, and we'll come back to you. Okay. Right, guys. What a ball ache that is. If you see here, oh, it needs you to, I don't know if we're going to see it all if I do too far. There you go. It's basically asking for you to these little parts, as you push them through, you need to mount them and then push it down. But then these parts here, the actual holes that they were supposed to go in there were way too small, so you had to stick the scalpel blade in to turn it around to make the holes a bit bigger. Well, anyway, there we go. There's that part. Right. Next, so we now need to add A4, which will be, well, first we need to cut these parts off as well first, so let's get these parts off first. So we need, yeah, we need 3 of them, one F4, well, this one's F4, these are now the sides to the lower part of the truck. You know, so you've just got to be literally careful and read the parts and read what your instructions say and look what the part looks like, because it is stuck. It is, you know, attached to sprue parts quite thickly because it's quite a big part, so you need to just make sure you've got the right parts out first. So that's F3, that was, wasn't it, I think? No, that was F4. And this little bit that's in the middle is basically the dashboard, I think, here. So let's get these bits off, and that will need to go into there. Save your parts, of course, just in case. Well, there's no just in case about it, you will need them, won't you? So it's best to, any parts that you cut off, I would put them in the tub that we've got out earlier ready for this build, but also perhaps just lightly mark them somewhere where you're not going to be, where it's not going to be seen if it's big enough, and just write what part number it is, because it could be, you know, you could forget, which I've done quite a few times. So this is going to need sanding, these bits, just to get the little nibs off, so I go for something a bit thinner, not so harsh. I mean, half of this stuff I can't see, you're going to be seeing all these, you know, these bits where you've cut them off, but some places you will, and you don't want to get caught. You don't want to get caught where you're just about to do it all and paint it, and then a couple of nibs stick out where you've not cut the part off properly. And then also you need to look at the part, because you don't necessarily want to go and cut some part off that you need, and it's going to be like a valid part, if you know what I mean. I mean, you can just use your your blade if you want to cut these off, but be very careful, because sometimes you can take too much off. Oh, sorry guys, that was my alarm for some reason. I don't know why that's been going off. So yeah, so let's clean these bits off and I'll come back to you. Hi guys, right, I've just noticed on here, on these two frames, which is step 2. Now these are the frames that will, attach to each side. Now, let me show you. So they're to go like that, basically, for the call it the undercarriage, eh? Right, so there's your drive, your axle and all that, and it's supposed to go in. However, I've just found now, if you look carefully, let me just see if you can see it. I don't know if you'll see it all that well. Let me just have a quick look. Let's get this underneath. Oh, where are we? Right, there's these bits here. That, and then, if you look carefully, they are just like basically bits that have mould bits, so you need to cut them off. So what we'll do is we'll come back again in a minute. I'll get all these and I'll come back to you, get these cut off. Right guys, hiya. I've now put my Spaz glasses on, which I've had to put them on because I can't see. And that's what I'm afraid has started to happen with my eyesight. It's going quite bad. I knew all that physical abuse years ago wasn't, self-physical abuse wasn't great. Anyway, sorry, bad joke I suppose. Right, so I'm getting all the previous builds out, the previous sections out, because we're now having to stick everything together and make it all one. So what I'm going to do is because we're on here and there's quite a few different bits on. So this is one. This is now A2. This one. Now this says it's to go in to. Well, I take it's not the best of directions really of where it wants you to go. It's a bit hit and miss. Now is that where that's supposed to go now? Yeah, I believe it's supposed to go there. But what we'll do is first it's after C63 times 3 and C63 times 3 on that bit there too. So what we'll do is we'll get the C sprues, put them on top, and then we'll cut out the C63s, which are all here. They're very thin again, so you've got to be quite careful when you're cutting them out. Now on this video, what I've tried to do is, guys, is instead of you spending an hour on one part like this, what I thought I would do is the more repetitive parts, like I said earlier, so make so many of them, or this part, like, I'm just showing you this because I've had you on pause for quite a while. Now I've just lost one to the carpet monster, but got it again. So like here, we're gonna have to clean these up just a tad because there's like a big seam mark on the back of them. So what I thought is, like, times like this where it's going to be a bit repetitive and that, I'll stick you on pause and then come back to you when we're all sticking the parts together, which I think is probably best. Okay guys, see you in a minute. Right guys, this part 2 for me, I don't know, I just think it's a bit fiddly. So what I've done is, you have to have all these bits and the extra bits here lined up, and then you sort of put these two bits, F3 and F4, together like a sandwich, so all the bits have got to like merge in like that. So what I've done is, to save a bit of time and for you to not hear me swear, I've added the sort of left hand side onto F4, and what I shall do is now you shall see me put it all back together, but it's going to be a right arse because it's very fiddly. So let's crack on. So here's the crankshaft and that, so it's all looking not too bad, I suppose. So this bit now, A2, needs to basically, I believe, go onto that part there. So let's have a look. Right, so there is marks for it to go, but it needs to go that side in, I believe. Is it? Yeah, so it's supposed to go on that side, but doesn't say if it's supposed to click onto anything or not. So I'm just going to take pot luck at this part. Oh god, oh it's so fiddly. I'll use some of the instant stuff if I can get my finger to it. God, what ball ache this bit is here. I'll probably be a massive... oh yeah, I thought so. I took it off with me finger, so what I'll do is try again. What we can do is hold it like that there. But what I'll do is add a bit of the green tam here. So we've got a bit of time to work with it. So my geek goggles are helping a bit, but not too much. So I'm just going to hold it there for now while it dries. It won't dry, Steve, if you keep knocking it and moving it. I'll tell you what, you know, what a spanner. It is really quite fiddly, this bit is now. And of course you've got to remember that I've said in the previous couple of steps that Tamiya Extra Thin, the normal one, can also act as a debonder. So you've got bits here, those C63 bits, which are like little bits of plastic. Now if they don't match up into that one as you're putting it in, you can just put a little bit of a dark green Extra Thin around it just to debond it a bit, and you'll have a chance to move it again, you know. So there's always that option. And then the next part that we're adding onto this is going to be, so now we know that that bit's in, they're all done, that's all done, so we know they're done, that's done, this is done. Right, so now we need to add A4 onto this bit here, which is this bit that we've got left, which we made on the previous step. So have a look which way it's made and needs to go. So it must be that way, but that's weird because that is not what that bit looks like. It looks like there's an extra bit on there, or is that just because we're doing... yeah, I think that's just because we're doing... ah, right, okay. So that's why this bit doesn't look there. G35 isn't on top of there, so we're doing the Marines version, but the Army version, not the Polish one, the US one. So that's got the top on there, which I'm seeing. Is it? Okay, now I'm getting weird. So it's like that. Right. So we're trying to work this out. It's a right ball ache. And to turn that over. Where the hell? Oh yeah. Okay. So we're kind of there. Right, so the Marine version doesn't have that bit on, so this bit will be going onto here. Put that way up, like so. And there's two little dots on that side. So that all now needs to fit on that little bit there, which is a bit of an arse. It needs to fit like that. So what I can do is, now that that's fit, what I could have done, but I'm not going to because it's too fiddly. Oh my, it's a bloody ball ache, this part is. It's really fiddly, this under part is. I'm just thinking, in the long run, do I really want this on? But yeah, because you've got to do it because you guys will want to see it on if you're honestly building this version, won't you? So, and it's all part and parcel. I want you to see the mistakes I make and all that, so you don't have to do them, or you can say, right, well, this way, next time I'm going to do it this way. Not like what Motty did, and he did it the other way, which he was a bit of a tip for doing it. So there you go. Right, so that's that one side all on, Luke. So now we need to attach the other side, which will be like that. Now ideally, by the look of it, it should be just a matter of just going on like that. However, we're all modelers and we know that the easy stuff doesn't always work. So what we can do initially is the furthest out part, which is one of the wheel axles. If we put it in to where it should go, like so, then we can start from perhaps that end, can't we? So this bit here is going to go into there. So what we're best doing is, I shall use this glue because it gives you a lot more time working with it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add where the parts are attached, so a bit of glue on that one there. That'll be one of the first parts it hits. And then also perhaps just here around this axle there, a little bit on the end of these little dips there, and then of course that bit there on the end, and then a little bit just there. So that can be done for that little bit there. So if we try to slice it in all nice and neatly, of course it won't work, but you never know. Right, so that bit's in, that bit there's in. Right, okay, so now we can, let's just put the top on that bit, on that glue. Then what we should do is here is, if we just put a bit of extra thin on there, give it a couple of minutes to, well, a couple of seconds to sort of debond it a bit, then we should be able to, if we get the tweezers in here, this is when my spec goggles on. It's quite difficult because I can't get my head properly over it to make sure it's on, because I want you guys to see what I'm doing, you know, so it is quite difficult to sort of get the part on and then also you see it at the same time, really. But it is quite difficult. So when people have said it before, and I sort of thought, yeah, I don't think that's right though, because it can't be that difficult. Yeah, it is. So I'm never ever going to say that ever again. Right, so this part here, these bits should have gone in there like that, and then these bits, which are the C63 little bars, need to be moved into position like that. There we go. So that there should add it. So what to do is, also I would just sit it all on the mat so it's all flat for you, so you know it's all going in flat, those parts. So they look all okay. Looks like they've gone in. Now this part here, I'll add a bit more glue onto that little bit there because it's not properly solid, that bit. Okay, so now we need to attach glue in these bits here so they can all work. So again, what I'm going to do is if I can do it, is just get a bit of glue in and a bit on the end there of this one, and a little bit there on that one, because again this glue, it's giving us time to work with the parts. Okay, so it won't dry straight away like your Tamiya, like Tamiya glue. Well, both Tamiya glues can dry pretty quick. So there we go. So that bit there, that needs to be moved down. Okay, so all in on that side, and then this needs to move to there, and then this bit at the end is wonky, so what we need to do is move that into the bars, into the holes, which is basically like that. Although that doesn't look right to me, that looks really bent. That's because it is bent, Steve, you twat. Oh, see what I mean? Oh, these bloody things. So that's where that's supposed to go. There we go. And then what you can do is now that everything's all stuck in two, you could come under with a bit of your quick setting and extra thin, and then just because that glue, this one here, won't be working straight. It'll be working now, but it won't be like stuck yet. So say you want to move on to the next part pretty quick, we could go back in now with a bit of the quick fitting. So just add a little bit where you stuck before, you know, so that will hopefully speed the drying time of the thicker glue on as well. So then it'll be mostly dry, and then you can move away. Okay, so that is basically step 2 done, so it's not too bad. It is very fiddly though, that is. I mean, oh grief. And to be honest, I will say one thing, I never ever moan and groan because, you know, about my health and whatever else, because it is what it is, you know, you can't do anything about it. But for some reason recently I've started to develop shakes, and it's really difficult when you're modelling. Anybody with shakes when they're modelling will know, because you're trying to, you know, parts and you can't see why you're shaking or whatever else. Anyway, by the by, so that now is done, that part. So get my pencil, have a quick tick, and then we can go on to that step 3 next. But I think what we'll do is, because I've got to drill some holes on this one, we've got to drill some holes here and that, and then get certain other bits all ready to go. What I shall do is I think what we've done today is where we keep stopping and starting and coming back to the part once I've cleaned it all up. I think that's going to work a treat. If any of you guys who think it's not, and you'd rather see it constantly all the way through, then you know, please say. But I think it's going to be a bit better if I do what I've done today, because I'm paranoid about, like, and I know you guys who know me and who support me and everything are brilliant. You know, you say stop worrying and all that, and I know that, and I appreciate that, generally do. But I do get paranoid about spending a long time on one section, which, because I'm a slow builder, like I said before, and I absolutely love the building part of making models. That's my favourite part. So when I'm taking my time, it's because I want to enjoy it, but also I'm not particularly a fast builder. So I don't want you to think that, you know, I'm taking the piss and whatever else. Well, anyway, stop going on now, Steve. So what we'll do is we'll leave that part there, because it's taken about a good half an hour or so, I would think. And then what we'll do is, the next part, I think what we'll do is, right, so this is this. So we're going to cut these parts out ready. Then I start recording so you can see me sticking it all back and sticking it all together and so on. Because now we're going to very soon start losing the access, shall we say, to painting certain parts of it, because there'll be parts that will go onto these next bits where you're not going to be able to get to, even with an airbrush or even a brush, you know, hand brush, you're going to really struggle to get in. So what I think we'll do is we'll cut the parts out on the next stage, and then we'll look at perhaps priming, although I don't know. I might just go straight in with paint actually, because I'm going to use Tamiya, probably use Tamiya lacquers as well on it. and if not that, then I'll be using AK real colours. So either way, anyway, so I should probably go in with the black, so that if you do miss anything somewhere when you're starting to paint, it won't show up so easily. So yeah, I think that's what we'll do, and we'll start stopping and going over to the paint area and that type of thing. So yeah, give that a go. Right guys, thanks for watching. I hope all of you are okay with this corona bloody thing, and stay safe. And the little bit at the beginning was just a joke. I'm not particularly very funny, so I don't think you'd be that funny or laughing anyway. So yeah, so hope you're all well, hope you're all safe. Thank you ever so much for stopping by and watching this. And also, can you just give those guys I've given a shout out to, the link should be underneath their last video or their channel, and give them a go. Thanks guys, hope you all stay safe, hope you all stay well, and may the force be with you. Bye.